Hey guys, how are things? Just doing a little bit out of breath. Just doing a bow drill practice here in the woods, and a bit of moss over on top of a donor piece of spruce here. It's a great way of just keeping everything nice and cool. So it's been a while, guys. I'll just let that do its thing there. So, how is everybody? It's been a while, like I said. Life has gotten in the way, guys. And my mother's not well, so it takes a lot of time. And my wife Natalie, who's behind the camera there, hi Natalie.
Hi Shane.
Has been giving me great help.
Hi everyone.
So thanks for that, Natalie. That's a fine ember there, I have to say. But anyhow, we're back. And been busy enough with classes, survival class and stuff this year so far, thank God. And I'm just back. I realised, and anyone that follows me on Instagram, you know, I'm a little bit of a champion of these Mora number 2s, and they're a great little knife. Okay, now, can they be used as a survival knife? Well, yeah, they can, but maybe they're not the knife I would recommend to someone to come on a course that really only has a day to spend with me, and they want rudimentary skills that they can use in the event of survival. So what I mean by that is a person that has no real dirt time and they might find themselves in a survival scenario. They're going to need a knife that's extremely robust. Okay? Extremely robust. And these are quite robust. Not extremely robust though. They're not a full-tang knife, and you know me, I'm a big champion of full-tang knives, especially for a survival knife. That said, they do have a full rat tail tang. Now, I have a little story about this. I was discussing this with Helly Harleton, one of Mora oldest students, and he was explaining to me that when Mora was actually discussing a full tang knife and the requirements of a full tang knife, that's what he actually meant. He meant a rat tail tang that went all the way through. So if you come up close here, you can see at the very butt of the knife, at the pommel end, you can see where the rat tail has come all the way through and it's been secured with a rivet. Now your general Mora clipper, Mora classic, the plastic handle ones, the tang ends at about where my fingers are, and it goes into this. So I like these better, okay? They also look better, okay? But sure, look, that's neither here nor there, but I like them, and they're that little bit more robust. So in survival, we're dealing with wrist thick type material, so which is what this is approaching here, and we can batten down through that, okay? So one of the key elements when you're using a rat tail tang knife is not to put a huge amount of weight through the handle, because this is the weakest point. So just let the actual blade do the work. So my hand is, you may see that that's dipping up a little bit like that, and that's for that reason. I'm not putting too much emphasis of bearing down on the handle, okay? So these knives can batten. They're fantastic for bushcrafting, and what I always say to people too, and a lot of students come to me and they want to get a survival knife, but the problem is they're not accustomed to using knives anymore. We don't really use knives that much anymore in society, other than maybe eating our dinner, and therefore it's not really a bad idea to initially select a knife that's approximately the size of the knife that you would eat your dinner with, because I find that people are very, very ungainly with larger knives. Now, am I saying that I would pick this over an SE5 or something like that? Well, no, I'm not, but like, I mean, I generally, this is a very, very convenient knife to carry. Now, there's a couple of issues with this type of knife, okay? We've covered we've covered the fact that it doesn't have a full tang, okay? But the fact that we know that, we can work around that. In fact, I sometimes favour a stick tang knife over these heavily skeletonized tangs now, that you get a very robust looking knife, but if you were to remove the handle slabs, there's a huge amounts of metal that has been removed, making it a very, very substandard tool, really, in my opinion. They don't come with a 90-degree spine, okay? So, but it's not that hard to put that on, okay? So we can use a foil here. Now I'm going to give you a tip. We want to try and create a burr. That's what's going to give us the best kind of surface for scraping a ferro rod. Now people say, well, which side do I put the burr on? Okay, if you're putting the knife into a vise or hammer down into a log like I have here, and you're doing it out in the woods or whatever, what you do is you face the tip of the knife. Okay, I'm left-handed. The tip of the knife is facing the hand that I use my knife. Okay, and then you're always pushing the foil that way, and that's creating a burr on this side. Okay, so if I were right-handed, I would have the knife facing my right hand, and now I'm pushing the burr that way. So does that make sense, guys? So what you do, all you have to do when you're putting a 90-degree spine on a knife that doesn't come with one, have the tip of the knife, when it's either in the vise or in the log, pointing towards the hand, that your dominant hand that you hold the knife with, and then we're always pushing with the foil. Okay, so I'm pushing with this foil now to create that burr, and hopefully now I'll show you in a minute the difference. These are things that people wouldn't do with their fancy expensive knife, okay? But remember what we say about a knife? What is a knife? What's a knife, Natalie?
A tool.
A tool. And it should be used as a tool, okay? So now I'm going to take out its more modern equivalent, which they're a little bit more expensive, but it's the same knife. But I do like them a little bit better because they come with a kind of a dyed red handle rather than a red painted handle, okay? But they come out of the factory clipped. The blade is clipped, okay? And as a result of that, what are we not getting here? What are we not getting, Natalie? Can you see sparks? I'm not seeing any sparks, okay? And that is not ideal with a bushcraft or survival knife, okay? Now, hopefully, right, I've done my job good, and what are we getting? Sparks, volumes of them, okay? So that's quite a difference, okay? Now, there is a little bit of a pronounced burr on this side, because that's where I want the burr to be. So if I were right-handed, you'd probably notice this. It will still scrape the ferro rod, okay, but it won't do it as well. Not bad now, but can you see it's not as well? It's not scraping it as well. Look, because we've put that burr on this side, okay. There we go, okay? So it's a quick and easy way to put that 90-degree spine onto your bushcraft, which may have to suffice now as a survival knife, okay? So at the end of the day, your survival knife There's two modalities that you can adopt with your survival knife, right? The first one is that you buy and choose a survival knife, and this is the one I recommend for people that don't have a lot of experience, okay? You buy and choose a knife that is so robust that you can't break it in the practice of survival, okay? Even if you're being stupid, okay? And the chances are that you are going to be stupid if you've only received rudimentary training. The alternative is to use a knife like a Mora Classic, which I do like something to have at least that full rat tail tang, okay? And use this knife with the knowledge that it can break and with the knowledge of how it would break as well. So if you have that knowledge at what point your bushcraft knife is going to break, you probably won't pass that boundary, because you'll be aware of that. But that takes dirt time, and lots of dirt time, okay? But the beauty of a knife like this is you can and will always have it on you. And when it comes to general tasks like carving something out like that, a net needle, or traps, it's really a pleasure to use. And where you'll find larger bushcraft or larger survival knives that are quite thick, yes, they'll do it, but it won't be such a pleasurable experience when you're trying to do that, okay? So guys, if you have any questions, give us a shout. And remember, these are lovely to wear as a neck knife, but a little bit of the military term ranger bands, or what I call them, bicycle inner tubes, okay? So we have a good old trusty high coloured Bic lighter here, and we have maybe about 3 foot of natural jute twine, which is what took the ferro rod strike there. And then we have our inner tube, which is a great fire starter in its own right as well. It'll extend stuff so that you can really get your fire going in the most inclement conditions. So guys, I'd like to hear your feedback on this, and the whole purpose of this video is to help people out that are getting started out in this survival bushcraft realm, that don't have hundreds and hundreds of dollars to spend on equipment. And here's the thing guys, you don't have to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars. You can do it with $20 or $30 and get out in the woods and practice, okay? There is no 2 or 3 or 400 euro knife that you can buy that will bestow you with magical survival skills, okay? So you are better off with a 20 euro knife and 100 euros worth of training than a 150 euro knife with no training. So remember that guys. Over and out, and we catch you the next time.